I know at Midday Court documents show Memphis rapper Finesse 2Tymes and his girlfriend Suga were both arrested in Texas. Here's a look at their mugshots. Finesse 2Tymes' legal name is Ricky Hampton. He faces possession charges for substances, including marijuana.
The rapper who performed at the nightclub in Little Rock, Arkansas Saturday morning was arrested on unrelated charges in this mass shooting that happened there. Ricky Hampton of Memphis, Tennessee, was taken into custody on a fugitive warrant out of Forest City, Arkansas. But so far, no arrests have been made in the shooting at the Power Ultra.
Rick Ross built his entire identity on one thing: being richer than everyone around him. The mansions, the private jets, the Rolls Royces, the 109-room estate in Georgia. Every song, every interview, every Instagram post was a carefully constructed message that said this man operates at a level regular people cannot access. And then photos dropped of him sitting in a commercial economy seat like everybody else. Middle of the plane, tray table down, no cap. The internet went nuclear, and rightfully so. At his peak, roughly 2012 to 2016, the picture was real. His Maybach Music Group was one of the most important label imprints in hip-hop. Meek Mill, Wale, Gunplay, a roster generating real cultural momentum and real revenue. His Wingstop franchise portfolio at one point reportedly included over 24 locations. He had the Belaire Champagne partnership, endorsement money, album sales, touring income, and then there was the Promised Land, Evander Holyfield's old compound in Fayetteville, Georgia, purchased for roughly $2 million in 2010 and valued significantly higher since. 109 rooms, largest swimming pool in the state. That was real. The boss persona at that point had real numbers behind it. So what happened? The spending never stopped. The income did. Cars, jewelry, entourage costs, private jet usage, the monthly overhead of maintaining a 109-room mansion, staff, utilities, security, upkeep. People close to the situation have said that maintaining the Promised Land alone was running serious money out the door every single month regardless of whether he was generating income. And when the touring income started declining, when the label stopped being the dominant force it once was, when the Wingstop business reportedly started facing challenges, the math stopped working in his favor. High fixed costs meeting declining revenue only goes one direction. Then came the ticket situation. His concert tickets were not selling. And not just slowly. His team ran a buy one get one free promotion, and people were still not buying. Think about what that means for someone whose entire brand was built on exclusivity, and the idea that being near him was a privilege. A 2-for-1 deal on Rick Ross tickets is the live event equivalent of a luxury brand putting a clearance banner in the window. And that is the context you need to understand why the economy seat photos hit the way they did. This was not just a funny celebrity moment. It was a direct visual contradiction of a 20-year brand. The man who spent 2 decades telling people that flying commercial was beneath him was sitting in row 27 with everyone else. His response made it worse. He said his private jet was getting Starlink installed, which is why he took a commercial flight. The Wi-Fi upgrade explanation. And here is why that does not hold up for even 30 seconds. When your jet is in maintenance for any reason, you charter another one. That is what people with actual private jet money do. You call a charter company, and you pay for a single flight, and you never touch a commercial gate. Even if chartering somehow was not available, which it always is at that level, you go first class. You do not end up in economy unless something is wrong that goes well beyond a Starlink installation. And the fans knew it. The comments were merciless. People were not just laughing at the photo, they were connecting dots. Economy seat plus BOGO ticket promotions plus reports of the Georgia estate falling behind on property taxes plus a Star Island mortgage that public filings show climbing past $35 million. When you line all of that up, the question people were already asking out loud was whether the biggest boss was actually broke. What makes this specific fall resonate is the poetic justice of it. Ross did not just flex. He flexed on people. He mocked regular people for flying commercial. He built his persona specifically on looking down at anyone who could not match his alleged financial level. And when the curtain slipped and revealed him in that exact economy cabin he spent years treating as a symbol of not being successful enough, the fall was not just financial. It was symbolic. Real wealth is quiet. Real wealth does not need to announce itself every day. Real wealth keeps working whether you are famous or not, whether the cameras are on or not. What Ross built was a performance of wealth that required constant maintenance, constant spending, and constant public participation to sustain itself. And spectacles are expensive. When the income slows, the spectacle starts revealing itself for what it always was. The economy seat is not just a funny photo. It is the moment the curtain slipped. Finesse 2 times came home from federal prison with buzz, Memphis behind him, and a label offer from one of the most legendary figures in Southern hip-hop. It looked like everything he needed. It turned out to be the cage he has been trying to escape ever since. Ricky Hampton grew up in Memphis, where the music is as raw and unfiltered as the environment that produces it. He did his time in the federal system and came out with momentum already building, songs connecting locally, a name generating real interest. That is when J. Prince and J. Prince Jr. brought him into Mob Ties Entertainment. Advances, jewelry, flights, family support while he was still locked up. From the outside, it looked like a fairy tale. A man does his time, a legend signs him, and the streets get a new voice. The problem was what he actually signed. Finesse sat down on a live session and put the Mob Ties contract into ChatGPT to read every clause out loud. What came back was uglier than he expected. The deal was a 360 contract. The label gets a percentage of everything: music, publishing, merchandise, touring, brand deals, name, likeness. Every dollar with his face or voice attached runs back to the label first. And the advances, the jewelry, the flights, the support while he was incarcerated, those were not gifts, they were loans against future earnings sitting on his account as debt he had to earn back before he saw real money. The assignment clause made it worse. That clause allowed Mob Ties to transfer his contract to any other label at any time. So even if Finesse waited it out and hoped they would eventually lose interest, they could just hand his paperwork somewhere else and he would still be locked in. The cage moved with him no matter what. The detail that the internet circled hardest was what Finesse said J. Prince told him before he signed. He said J. Prince told him directly not to bring a lawyer, that real ones do not need lawyers, that they were going to do this on handshake and respect. Finesse, fresh off federal prison, looking at J. Prince as a legend, took that advice and signed without legal counsel on his side. 4 years on Mob Ties, 2 projects, no rollout money, no machine pushing him. Atlantic, which Mob Ties is plugged into, was not checking for him either. He had buzz, fans waiting, and songs in the vault, and he could not move freely. So he did the only thing he could, live after live, crying out publicly for someone to throw him a rope. Then he made the decision that cost him the most. A promoter booked him to headline an event, paid the fee, built the marketing around his name, and Finesse collected the money and did not show up. He allegedly sent his brother instead, not the artist whose name was on every flyer and whose draw was the entire reason anyone bought tickets. His brother. The promoter filed suit. The damages reflected the full scope of the fallout: booking fee, marketing costs, ticket refund liability, lost projected revenue. The court sided with the promoter. A 6-figure judgment landed against Finesse on the public record, and he cannot pay it. The Mob Ties structure means the music income is being filtered through a deal that was never built in his favor. The bookings have slowed, and that judgment is sitting there accruing interest, capable of intercepting any meaningful income the moment his revenue picks back up. Here is what matters about this story beyond the drama. There is a direct line between signing a 360 deal without a lawyer and eventually making a desperate financial decision. When you are generating income that the label is absorbing most of, when 4 years of work has produced 2 projects and no real push, when the frustration and the financial pressure are both compounding, judgment gets compromised. The no-show was a choice, and a bad one with real victims. The promoter who lost money did not deserve that. But the context matters. Desperation produces decisions that a person in a stable situation would never make. The Mob Ties contract is enforceable. The judgment is valid. All of it is legal. None of it was designed with Ricky Hampton's long-term interest as the priority. That is the music industry operating exactly as it was built to operate, benefiting the people with leverage over the people arriving with nothing but talent. At 33 years old, Finesse 2 times is fighting a contract, a lawsuit, and a booking market that has cooled significantly, all simultaneously. The talent is still there. Memphis gave him that, and nobody can take it back. But talent alone has never been enough in a system that was not built to protect the people producing it. One of the most talented rappers to ever come out of Florida is 28 years old, has 5 children, a platinum discography, and a fan base that genuinely loves him. And right now in 2026, he is still fighting a battle that has been slowly taking everything from him while the people around him stay quiet. This is not a takedown piece. This is an honest conversation about what is actually happening with Kodak Black, because the comments under every viral clip say the same thing. I hope he gets help. He can be so much more. That is not hate. That is people who grew up listening to this man, expressing real concern for his life. Bill Kahan Capri, born June 11, 1997, in the Golden Acres housing projects in Pompano Beach, Florida. Father gone, mother working a cashier job trying to hold things together. He was studying the dictionary and thesaurus at 12 years old to sharpen his bars. Got expelled, got arrested, and dropped out in 9th grade. By 2017, his debut album debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. That is a kid who turned real pain into something real. And the distance between those 2 points is genuinely extraordinary. But here is what people miss when they talk about Kodak's rise. The environment that made him never changed. Fame brought money and visibility, but it did not bring structure or healing. And for someone carrying what he carried from childhood, no father, poverty, early legal trouble, unaddressed trauma, that does not disappear, because the numbers in your bank account change. The wiring is already done. The patterns are already set. The substance dependency that fans started noticing in his behavior did not announce itself all at once. The interviews got more erratic, the performances became unpredictable. But he was still touring, still recording, still showing up on the surface. That is one of the most dangerous versions of addiction, because it is easy for everyone around the person to convince themselves things are not that bad. The shows are happening, the music is coming out, he must be fine. Functional and fine are not the same thing. In June 2024, he pulled the curtain back at a live show in Los Angeles. He told the crowd directly about what he had been going through at his lowest, describing a level of daily consumption that shocked people. He said he wanted them to hear it as a warning. He even expressed regret about Super Gremlin, one of his biggest hits, because he felt like he had glorified that lifestyle while he was deep in it. For a minute, it felt like a turning point. By November 2024, he appeared on one of the biggest streaming events of the year, and what fans saw was alarming. Visibly not himself, rambling, sweating heavily, the internet reacted immediately with concern, and then he went on Instagram Live to address it and said something that stopped people cold. He said he was too young to die sober, that he had money, he was young, and he did not see the point. That line reveals exactly the mindset that makes addiction so difficult to break when someone has not yet felt the full consequences. When you are 27, still performing, still charting, the crisis does not always feel like a crisis from the inside. In May 2025, 2 respected figures who have done genuine work around redemption had a heart-to-heart with him on the side of a road. Footage went viral. You could feel the real love and concern in that conversation. It did not change the trajectory. Weeks later, he was referencing substances and freestyles again. Here is what the conversation keeps avoiding. The people making money from Kodak's output have not created space for the structural intervention he actually needs. As long as the shows sell and the album charts, there is always a financial reason to postpone the hard conversation. The industry will celebrate a comeback and book the next tour while ignoring the fact that the artist is falling apart behind the scenes. That is not unique to Kodak. It is how this business has always operated. The entourage around him has financial motivation to stay comfortable and zero accountability to force the difficult moment. The co-parenting relationships that should be most motivated to see him healthy for the sake of his 5 children are reportedly caught up in conflict instead of solutions. Everyone can see it. Nobody with the actual access and the actual leverage is doing anything that is visibly working. Kodak at his best is one of the most authentic voices hip-hop has ever produced. At 28, he is not a finished story. Artists have gone through struggles as deep and come out the other side with their greatest work still ahead. That is possible, but possibility requires the right support at the right moment. And right now, the infrastructure for that does not seem to be matching the scale of what he is dealing with. The talent is not the question. It never was. The question is whether the people around him will finally choose the hard road over the comfortable one before it is too late. Black Youngsta is also in this list. The next is Lil Skies. And the last one is B-Way Young, NBA Youngboy's brother left behind. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, SAMHSA's national helpline is available 24/7 at 1-800-662-4357. It is free, confidential, and available in English and Spanish. Drop a comment. Do you think Jay Prince should release Finesse from the deal, or does the contract stand no matter what? Drop a comment. Do you think Ross can rebuild the boss image from here, or is the narrative permanently cracked?